What a beautiful day outside. Holy cow, this is what I've been waiting for. It's still not hot, but how could I complain? All this sunshine.
I've been riding on a daydream.
I've got a bunch of stuff that I've been doing. It's been keeping me busy, but it's not getting my truck worked on, and it's unfortunate. And I started working on the guy's pressure washer. I got this cleaned up for the most part. He's got a crack in the mount of his gas tank, so I had to order a new gas tank. So we'll just leave this sit here and work around all of it for the next week. Hopefully this thing will come a little bit sooner. The truck, I really need to get to work on it, but I'm not 100% sure how I want to do it, because I want to do all the brakes at once, and I don't normally do that. Usually I do the fronts and then I do the rears, but I'd like to do all the brakes at once. I would like to take off all wheels and tires, so that means the truck would have to be up on jack stands. To do it out in the driveway, it's not a big deal. I can't do it in the garage. The truck's too long, and even if it wasn't too long, it's too high. I can only jack it up so far without the cap, hitting something in the garage here. So not probably going to do that either, as far as bringing it in here. So I'm going to have to probably do the work out in the driveway, which isn't a big deal. I've done plenty of work out in the driveway in the past. I really like to do the brakes today. Boy, is it a nice day though. Almost want you to play a little hooky. I mean, it's just wind's blowing, the breeze is warm, the temperature's in the upper 60s. The grass is green. Like I said, I had to get everything string trimmed. Yeah, it's just a really, really nice day. These are the only type of days, and warmer, hotter days, that I could see staying in the state of Ohio. I mean, it's just something that most people don't get to experience in like the desert climate, and that is, just this ground is so soft, it's like walking on carpet. The grass is so soft, it's like carpet, and all this green, even though the mower cut a little bit low and you can see it turn the grass a little bit different color, it's just a real pleasant day out. One of those days you could just set a picnic table up or a hammock and or even a blanket, just throw a blanket on the ground and just take a nap. It's very, very pleasant out. But I know I got work to do, and I need to be doing more than what I am. I'm just a little bit on the spring fever side today. So I made a mistake by trusting the weatherman. It's a little bit colder today, and it was supposed to be relatively nice. Not only that, but he had said that the day was going to be pretty much no rain. At least that was the initial forecast. The percentage was very low. He had said that the reason that the percentage of chance of rain was so low is because the dry air was just going to eat up whatever rain tried to intrude from our south. And this is the storm that kind of went through the Carolinas just recently. So basically, I left you guys yesterday saying I needed to take a look at the truck. Instead, I went ahead and took all my battery cores and old oil up to Heidi's work, got rid of that, recycled, and I picked up some parts. Just the rear brakes, the shoes, and then all the hardware for the drums, and then the left and right adjusters in case I needed that. I got some other stuff. I was low on some supplies. It was about $100. If you don't know this and you guys want to shop at Advance Auto Parts, sign up for their speed perks. If you spend over $100, basically you'll get a coupon for or what they call a speed perk for $20 off your next purchase of $50 or more. Well, I didn't buy my front brakes and didn't buy brake fluid. So what I'm going to do is wait. It takes about 4 days for me to get the speed perk. And then I'll go back with that $20 coupon and get my brakes pretty cheap. You know, I'll spend just over $50 and, you know, it'll actually cost me $30. So quite a bit of money off overall. It works out pretty well. So I'm kind of holding off, and now the fact that it rained here, and it rained quite a bit today, the ground's all wet. I'm not going to be out there rolling around in that or bringing my floor jack out in that and screwing around. It'll dry out. Tomorrow's supposed to be beautiful. I expect it to be very, very nice tomorrow. They're talking about wall-to-wall sunshine, no clouds. Today will turn out to be a good day. If this dries out by some chance by the, you know, maybe 3 o'clock, I might look at the truck and look at the rear brakes, but looks like I'm going to be holding off on this because I did what I was saying yesterday I was tempted to do, and I kind of played hooky, and that was going up to Heidi's work and just buying the parts. But I did get a lot of stuff done. The garage is relatively clean now, for the most part, and that's such a loose term. And I got some of the parts that I need, so it's just a matter of getting ready to get all this stuff put together. Now, there is one thing I could do, and I'm tempted. I've never cleaned the interior of this truck ever, and we have a pretty nice Bissell cleaner, an interior cleaner, and some good upholstery cleaner, a solvent, I guess you could call it. And it might be a good idea that I could do that since the truck's going to pretty much sit anyways. Maybe I'll do that today. But I just wanted to leave you guys in the loop and let you know that I kind of dropped the ball yesterday. And we'll come back whenever I've got something done. That may be tomorrow, that may be later today. We'll have to see how it all works out. All right, so I grabbed my phone here because it gets a little bit closer, a little bit better sometimes. Let me try to focus in on something there. There we go. And this is the window regulator for that little kitchen window. Remember when we went out camping there, one of the last days, it broke. And like I said, I just needed a screw. I was going to try some pop rivets, but that's not going to work. Basically what happens, at least in my case, is the ends are slotted. They look like this, and you can see there's a slot on both sides. And then inside this regulator is a couple of keys, meaning a couple of bumps basically that go inside those slots to keep it, you know, to where it'll spin. Well, it didn't. I ran a screw through that mechanism after I drilled a hole all the way through. God, these people drive like idiots. It's incredible what people think are fast. If it doesn't go fast, put a loud muffler on it. Everybody will think you're fast. So yeah, this is it. This is the repair, and it'll last just fine. I mean, there's no sense in buying a new regulator. So we'll go ahead and reinstall all this stuff, and we'll be good to go. So now that is fixed. I'm gonna have to get some of this awning tape off here. Wow, it really screwed that up. That awning tape sticks to rubber big time. I guess if you had a leak in your roof, the way this thing hooks to rubber, man, that's sticky. Wow, maybe that would work. Anyways, this is back attached and it works. Not bad. It was one of those things I didn't want to replace that regulator, and it didn't take much to fix it, except trying to get those mechanisms back in. That was a little bit tighter than I thought it was going to be. And while I was at it, a little bit earlier, this is pretty much dry now where I clean the upholstery. It's still a little damp to the touch, but not real bad. I could drive if I had to. My clothes get a little wet, but so that's done. I'm just waiting for that to dry out, which the sun's kind of gone away if you haven't been able to tell. It just turned out to be a cloudy day. It's warm, it's not bad, it's just a cloudy day. All right, so that was all I got done yesterday, which wasn't much. I mean, I got that window fixed and I got the upholstery clean in the truck, But today is definitely a day I need to do some work. Even though I hurt my back somehow, something strange, I'm just getting to that age where I need to do some stretching before I do any kind of work. And I didn't do that yesterday. But today, I'm going to do the rear brakes on the truck because it's nice out. Wall-to-wall sunshine. I mean, it's perfect. It's not hot yet, but it's pretty darn good. But yeah, you can see it's a very, very, very nice day. We're about 59 degrees right now. It's about, I don't know, maybe 9:30 in the morning, and it's not going to be bad at all. The wind is hardly anything at all, which is nice, and the temperature is increasing. Now the ground is still a little bit damp, but it'll dry out, and it's not that bad. I can deal with that. The day before yesterday, it was just too damp to work on. But I'm going to go ahead and break into these rear brakes. I know that I wanted to do all the brakes at once, but I've got to tackle what I can when I can. So let's see what happens today. Well, I got one side done on the truck. I had to do a little bit of re-engineering. I hate it whenever the manufacturers of the replacement parts, you know, they get close, but they don't get exactly the way that they were from the factory. So some of the things don't quite work the way that they're supposed to. So I had to reuse an old part. Wasn't real happy about that. And I had to lubricate and I had to actually grind down something else just so it worked correctly. I'm talking about the self-adjuster in this case for you guys that know what I'm actually doing out here and the things that you can run into. But I'm getting ready to start on the other side now. This side here, they didn't even have this hooked up. This was just laying up on top here, just riding on the part of the axle. Actually, you can see that's why it's kind of grooved. I was wondering why I had a little whistling noise come from the back, and it wouldn't change whenever I would push the brakes, which I thought was odd. The shoes look pretty decent on both of these. The drums look pretty good. This drum looks a little bit better than the other one, but there's nothing really wrong with the brakes other than they didn't have this self-adjuster connected. I don't know who did this, but shame on them. And then I'm going to test my emergency brake or my parking brake cables and see if I can make those operate the way that they should. It's always a good idea to either have wheel chocks in your vehicle or have a good working parking brake in case you break a drive shaft U-joint. There's nothing really to keep the truck from rolling away. You know, park in your transmission, the park pin, that's really what locks these back wheels up. So if you break the link from this rear end to the transmission by losing a U-joint or something, then there's nothing to keep the truck from rolling. And if you're on a hill, usually that's where you break U-joints, whenever you're really stressing the vehicle going up some sort of a hill or even down a hill, but mainly up a hill. Then you've got to hold the vehicle and unfortunately your trailer all at the same time while using just their brakes while you try to figure out a way to fix your vehicle. So either bring wheel chocks or make sure your parking brake works. I'm going to try to get my parking brake to work. That'd be nice. So let me go ahead and tear this apart and see what we run into on this side. Alright, so the truck's all done. Took it for a little test drive, and the back brakes work and my parking brake works again, which I expected. So I'll just wait for a few more days and then I'll tackle the front. I'm going to bleed the entire system and change the fluid out for the brake fluid. But in the meantime, I'm working inside the RV on something that's just very minor, and it's more of an annoyance than anything else, and that is the fan that we put in here, which I did a video on, has a little squeak, just the tiniest squeak, and it drives me crazy. So you can hear it. Well, that squeak is a little bit louder whenever it's running. So I'm going to fix that. So I think. We'll see. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled the fan out. It's just kind of hanging by the wires here. And I pulled the cover off of the motor, which is just a couple of screws. Actually, it goes this way. I pulled the cover off. Get that out of the way here. And then I'm going to take the motor out, just like you see here. And what I'm going to do is spray a light silicone lubricant on this shaft and turn the shaft to help lubricate the bearing that is not only here, but there's one here also, because this is a sealed unit. I don't want to take it apart to expose it. That's not a good idea. So I will let the lubricant slide the shaft the entire way, and hopefully it'll lubricate the other bearing too, because I think that's the one that's making noise. I'm pretty sure of it. So let me go back to doing what I'm doing and give me back my other hand to do it. Alright, so the squeak is just ever so light now. You can kind of hear it. But not bad, and you can't hear it when it's on full. So that's really good, because it was a little annoying. I mean, it didn't affect the way that it worked or anything, but holy cow, is that pulling some air. I'm sweating in here and I can feel it on the back of my neck. This little fan does work really well. I'm happy about that. I did a video on this for you new subscribers. Just go back, oh, I don't know, probably last year? I'm not sure. Or just type in the projects or something. There'll be a video on this fan installation. I did a step-by-step, but yeah, works really well. So I'm going to leave it run for a little while and see if we can get this thing cooled out, because it is a little warm in the camper. Like I said, I'm sweating, and I think Heidi might want to do some painting on her day off. I'm not so sure how she feels about painting, and I'm not going to force her into it. I care less if it gets painted or not. That's kind of her thing. But we'll let this thing air out for a little while. Matter of fact, I'm going to close this door and let it pull through the window that I fixed in the kitchen, because there's a little air freshener that's right by that window that has a tendency to freshen up the place just by smell. So I made a mess in here because I worked on the truck. I'll fix it. Not right now though. Right now I'm going in and taking a shower, and Heidi's on her way home. She got off a little bit early, which is a rarity, very rare. But I'm glad that the truck is done as far as the rear brakes. That was going to be the most difficult. Alright, so Heidi's here, and we're going to close out the video. That's all she gets to do on the video today.
How exciting.
Yeah, and Heidi's talking about maybe painting tomorrow. Who's to say? She's cooking pork chops. I don't know if you can see them back there on the grill, but or the stove. But that's going to be some good eating. So that's it, guys, and I know this video kind of drug on. I wanted to cover a few days here, just letting you see what we're doing so you can stay up with our progress. And as always, I hope to see you out there.
Bye.
Bye.